What's up, everybody? What's up, Milo? What's up, Kiki? What's up, Leah? How we doing? Are we glad to be back? I missed you guys last week. We had a week off, but I missed doing the stream. You're too kind, my lord. You're too kind. What's new then, everybody? What's going on? Kiki, I swear, I see like, unless I'm like behind, like 15 different drawings a day on your, it's what it feels like on your Instagram. Are they like designs that you're working on or you've done of other people's? Because sometimes I don't see that there's somebody like tagged in the caption underneath, so I'm presuming they're designs of yours, or what are you up to? What are you up to? Right, let's get this switched around. No, good to see you, Leah. I'm glad you've also managed to jump in, hang out for a little while. Let's switch this around. Lovely. And then the music stopped, so we'll see what's going on with that. There we go. They're yours. Oh, cool. So you must be flying through designs. As you can see, I thought there's a brush that I want to try and use, which will make drawing this like super easy. So we're going to try and mess around with that. That's going to be the only thing we're sort of doing today. I have been working on a design that's going to be coming out on Patreon, and I'm really looking forward to doing it. It might be a long one, but it's going to be really cool. But I'll maybe give you a sort of glimpse at that later on. What's up, Akin? How are you doing? Yeah, fair enough, Kiki. Makes sense. You are flying. Too much time. Right, let's first of all, obviously we're going to draw the amethyst crystal. I want to go ahead and try and like create like a shape that looks really kind of catching, and maybe some sort of lighting scenario, which would be really cool. So I think just we'll go from there. We'll start planning out some stuff. I've been really getting involved at the minute with inking the studio pen. Really fun pen to use. I think it's a studio, sorry. But a really nice pen to use. Really like how you can get lots of like weight in there. What's this marker though? That looks kind of cool. Let's go back to the studio pen. I'm not sure why the music keeps stopping. What's up, Matt? Leah, I'm on a plane flying across the country. Oh, cool. That's pretty sick. Where are you going to? Akin, how about you? I'm excited with your live stream. I'm very good. I'm a bit tired from a stag do weekend. Still tired. It's Wednesday, which says everything. But it's good fun. Good fun. Let's draw this crystal in place. Okay, so let's try and first of all create like a little shape. I'm thinking just like a rounded one. Maybe just like the odd sort of point. It doesn't really matter too much about the shape. This will be kind of the front end, and then I'm thinking of creating a second part that just sits around the back. So it's like slightly at an angle, so maybe we sort of create something like this, where so the rock is kind of sat, and I can put it then like on a floor and give it like a shadow and stuff. So this is the side profile, and that's the inside. So maybe I'll have to adjust the angle and stuff afterwards, but we'll see how we get from there. Who here caught the YouTube Creators Hub podcast that I was on? I gave you a little sort of teaser that something was coming at the end of the last stream we did. I said about keeping an eye out for it on the Friday. But how many of you managed to watch that? And did you enjoy it? If you didn't already know, I was interviewed on the YouTube Creators Hub podcast. It was absolutely buzzing to be on it. And yeah, very cool. Really cool experience. At the minute, we're just sort of planning out a little bit of a backdrop. Just grabbing some colours from this reference image. We'll put some colours together, see what sort of shapes we can maybe make, some nice gradients maybe. That's fine, we'll just make a nice light gradient in the back there. It's still live. It's on Spotify. It's on everywhere you can listen to a podcast. It's on YouTube as well. You can go to the YouTube Creators Hub podcast. Yeah, I was absolutely buzzing, to be honest. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Milo. I tried to sort of sneak in lots of little bits about sort of my patrons. I don't know if you noticed, but there was a couple of references in there throughout. Let's maybe try and just sort of really bump and lump up this edge now, sort of create less of a rounded shape, give it more of a rocky look to it. I want it to be, I don't want it to, I'm not trying to make this super realistic either. I want to just make it relatively quick, to be honest with you. I want to try and focus the YouTube tutorials at the minute and try and make them a little bit shorter where possible. Some designs, you know, it is what it is. We've got to do certain bits, and sometimes they'll take a little bit longer, but I'm trying to just bear that in mind a little bit. Oh, cool. Well, if you do listen to it, let me know what you think. So the cool thing with these crystals is they obviously have got quite a gradient in there, and if we take a look at just one side, we kind of go from this white crystal into these like pinky purples, into this really dark purple, if not slightly blue hue. So we can just sort of grab a few different colors here, and I'm going to create a palette just to make life a little bit easier. So grab a palette there, we'll grab a couple of more colors in here. We'll grab one from the sort of midpoint here. Let's see if we can grab one deep in here, like a really dark blue. Definitely blue. If I take a look at that, it's definitely blue. I'll grab this color here to see what color that is. I think it's more of a navy. Excuse me. Cool. That's looking cool. It should be fun, but should be fun. Hopefully it will come out quite nice. We'll just have to wait and see. I literally just thought about it just before I came on, so we'll see what we can come up with. I've learned to, I'm starting to try and tell myself constantly, like, you just need to just trust the process. Like almost like loads and loads of streams, I'll sort of say, well, I'm not sure how this is going to work out, but you know, we'll see how we go. And it turns out all right in the end. So you just got to trust the process. And that's kind of what I tell you guys as well, don't I? So I should take my own advice. Let's try and sort of make these edges a little bit more solid as they go round. And then now we're going to have to try and really focus the colour, but in that centre area. So I might have to do that again in a minute. Tangent, did you watch The Lord of the Rings? The original films, yeah. I've not been watching the TV series. Is that what you're referring to, the TV series or the originals? I think this could actually be really quick, but I just need a particular type of brush, which I'm not sure what it is. Maybe this one kind of would give me a nice, you know, random edge to it. Yeah, something a little bit more like this would give us a bit more sort of definition around that outer edge. But whether or not they're a bit too sharp and not too jagged, if that makes sense. It looks like the Arkenstone from Lotta. I unfortunately don't know what that is, but I shall take your word for it. Oh, what's up, Jay? Sorry, I missed you out there. I'm just catching back up on that chat. What's up, Marie? And Crash Mat Wearer as well. What's up? I got everybody's here. How y'all doing? Glad you're hanging out with me on this evening. This brush is also not the one. This one's okay, but it's just not kind of jagged enough. I'm hoping there's a brush that will do it for me. If there isn't, we'll just have to manually do it. But again, I want to make this as quick as possible, so I don't want anybody doing it and taking too much time over it. So I think we'll roll round to this, and then we'll go to our light color here, and then we'll grab the selection tool. And I think what we'll do is we'll create a new layer, clip that also, and then this can be our nice sharp edge. So we can go from like here. Oh, let's go back. It's a bit too sharp. Back on myself. It's going to be. I've got a fear it's going to end up looking like just a really jazzy coconut. Do you know what I mean? It could easily start looking that way. Drag and drop the colour into this area here. That's kind of a little bit closer. This one here is a bit sharp at the bottom. Okay. That looks okay for a minute. We trust the process. We trust. And then we'll do another layer maybe just on the opposite side, exactly the same. Oh, what was that brush? Before I forget. Let's go to recent. Let's go to evolve. Let's just take a screenshot. So what I tried to do is lately take a screenshot of what I'm doing constantly, just to remind myself. So that actually looks way better. So you were right, chat. I was wrong. We'll go along here, overlap what I've done before. We'll go with something a bit more like this. It's a little bit more rugged, but we'll see how it goes. What's up, Kirsty? How are you doing? Good to see you. I haven't seen you for ages. What's new? How's life? So this is where I think I can easily get away with just doing a very, very quick effect, and this will come off. And this is the whole reason I came up with this concept, is under where are you? Whole fire. Where is it? Organic. I thought it was down here. There's a particular brush I'm looking for. Here it is. This bokeh here. So this bokeh here, you might just about be able to see it. It's quite triangular shaped. I'm thinking if we set that to a particular color and the layer effect to something, which I don't know, I'm going to gamble with overlay for a minute. I think this could end up doing all of the work for me. That just about worked out, I think. And then maybe you could go back in with like a darker color, break that up and add in some darker tones under here. And alright, you kind of get that effect. We need to work on it, but you get the effect and the illusion a little bit more. I think there's a couple of layer effects in there that can definitely be used to probably heighten that up a little bit. And that's probably not the correct color to be using either, like that kind of white. But it did a pretty good job. Well, undo it and do it again. And see what colours maybe we need to integrate. Maybe, oh, where did that go? There it is. So maybe a couple of sort of big ones in there, and then we overlay on top of that maybe. This is about just finding that right balance. Sorry, it's been a long time. We won't. Oh, sorry, we won't go into live because it will depress everyone. Well, it's good to see you. I'm glad you popped back in. I have not seen you for a while. This outer edge is too white. You know, like there needs to be a couple of different sort of tones in this area here, maybe. Let's make a backup of that layer. Go around that a few times, maybe. Maybe just grab the lightest purple here. Just on like the edges, maybe. Maybe that needs to be just even bigger than that. Like a bit more like that. So there's a bit more of an effect where you can see this front side here a little bit more. I'm glad you like the effect, Crash Map. Which again, I've forgotten your name from. You can give me a little bit of credit. It is 2 weeks ago. The puppies are good, Kirsty. They're very, very good. Thank you. Did you see the YouTube Creator Hub podcast interview, Kirsty? What have you seen and what haven't you seen? What's up, Bella? How are you doing? What is good? This is a fun little brush, but I just want to really work out how to use it and what the best scenario is for this. Like, is it to lower the opacity down and just continue to like overlap and overlap and overlap until you create like more colors in here? You know, like I'm using the darker color now. So just, you know, sort of take away a little bit of that edge, but then do I just go back in again with the lighter color and add in more? Do I go back in and add in some pinks? Just keep overlaying and overlaying and overlaying at a really low percentage of opacity. I think that is it, but it's just trying to see what we can come up with. Let's duplicate the layer and also change it to like a purple, and maybe just gauge and blur it underneath so it's a bit more like that. See, that helps that front edge stand off a little bit more. It's pretty simple, and I'm not happy too much with the outer shape, but we'll refine it. Can't be too critical just yet on myself. That hard light looks really nice. Troy, there he is. Standard procedure. 10 gifted memberships. Big shout out to Troy in the chat. If you get a membership, if you're watching, Troy has gifted you one. You have a little badge. You'll see the majority of the chat all have a name, a little Joel create symbol, which by the way, actually I've just clocked needs updating because that's the old logo. Jesus, man. Troy, thank you so much. Hopefully they start dishing out to everybody. I would imagine everybody's already got one here in the chat, but we shall see. Oh, there we go. Jamie's got one. Troy always looking after the community. Appreciate you as always. How are you? Let's refine this edge because I think I can do a better job of this shape. And I think it just needs to be more rectangular. Kirsty, what is the podcast? It's the YouTube Creators Hub podcast. I was on it not last Friday, the Friday before. Guys, if you do receive a membership, it's just a gift from another member of the community. You'll get a little Joel Create symbol beside your name for a month, and when that runs out, you obviously won't be there anymore, but it just shows you're a member. You get exclusive emojis in the chat. You also, if you comment on any of my videos, the little symbol will show beside your name. The idea really is, if you want to support the channel, a membership is 99 pence a month, or 99 cents, something really small. I've made it as small as possible, and it's just to show your loyalty. And for example, like Troy's got a nice bronze badge beside his name, which is probably very close to tipping over to silver. And so the longer you are a supporter, it changes colour. So Jamie, yours would change potentially to blue next, then green, and then bronze, and then so on from there. Bronze, silver, gold. I'm going to make a really vibrant one to show like 2 years, which will come up soon. So believe it or not, we're actually going to get a few people getting close to gold soon. So I believe, no, is it gold? I think it's silver. I think everybody's starting to trickle into the silver, so I need to start thinking about making one for a gold, beyond gold, shall I say. Right, let's see if I can find a brush, or again, I'm just gonna have to try and do it myself. So bear with me for a sec, folks. Let's see what we can find. Or do we just go in with like a monoline really small? I wanted the randomness of a brush to do it for us, because that way you're not creating patterns, you're not repeating yourself constantly. So hopefully like a brush could do that for us. What's this one? This one looks a bit too painted, edgy. This one looks a bit blocky. You could try this one. Oh, that's mad. That's got like a real painting look to it. What if we like, no, that's going to be too big, isn't it? So what if we made this really small? Probably still a little bit too edgy. Crash mat, that was the most frustrating video to edit afterwards, because I'll admit, when I finished, so Crash Mat there is talking about, in my latest Patreon tutorial that went live yesterday, there's a series of like tasks to do in the middle of the tutorial, and at the time I didn't realize I was saying it until right at the very end of like the task at hand. But I kept saying haze constantly, haze, 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 and in editing I could hear it like it was the only word I was saying. And I just thought, I'm going to have to slap a counter in the corner and hopefully someone will find it funny. So I'm glad you did. But yeah, it was so frustrating to hear myself back and be like, how did you not clock that you were saying this word so repetitively? But yeah. Kirsty, I'm sorry for flying. Visit Joel. I have to go now. I'm glad you're doing good. Kirsty, I'm so glad you're back in the chat for a little while anyway. So it's good to see you. Make sure to come in and say hello when you're next about. You should have seen my face. If you were laughing, you should have seen my face. I was not happy. Because there's nothing you can do at that point for me. I just have to sort of just roll with it now. It's been shot, it's been edited. You gotta just crack on. See, now I'm just trying to block out this edge a little bit more, make it a little bit sharper in points, so where it's been cut, I don't mind overlapping what I've already done, but I think that looks better immediately. Okay, so I think then what we do is we go with the base color, we alpha lock the layer, we go back to our favorite little brush, which is, and There we go. And then we start going over the top of it multiple times, but with all the other colours. So drop it to 30, I'll make a little note of that. Maybe drop this one too. And we start running this up and down. Yeah. I think maybe I need to drop into like a really darker tone first, yeah. So we drop in the darker tone first. Maybe a little bit more around the edges. This is what I mean, I want the brush to do all the work. I don't want anybody to sit here constantly like looking at it and making lots and lots of adjustments, you know. And that already looks a lot better by rubbing that darker tone over the top, which was there. I'll take a screenshot of that so I remember. And we just run this up and down, try and chip away some of those darker tones, but also leaving like residue of other colours as well. When you take a look at it, there's a couple of edges that are a bit smaller. There's also quite defined crystal edges, so maybe I need to actually be a bit braver and go like a big shape over the top, maybe. Just sort of messing around at this point. Let's see what we can try and maybe add some larger shapes that run over the top. Yeah guys, if you do get a sec, if you could drop a like down below, as Milo said, that would be smashing. Maybe I also maybe very lightly grab the soft airbrush, maybe run this over the inside. It does look a little bit better, just a little bit. What's up Amy, how are you doing? Good to see you in the chat. What if we darkened up around the outside edge? See, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that they need to be, but maybe we create a new layer. Select this shape. See, now I'm starting to get into the point where we're making like lots of little changes here and there that need to be considered and not go too mad. Geodude. It with the darker tones on the top. Let's do this side as well and let's see what we can come up with over there as well. So we alpha lock the layer and then we go to town with this purple first. Little dab. That's such, like, how did that make it to being an actual emoji? Like, it was that popular. See, look, that side looks really good, and I think I maybe should have started here because it makes it already give the right impression of what I wanted it to do. So I'll just drop a little plus on there as well. Come back. We'll start going very light with the other colours, just trying to add in a bit more dimension in the colour. Around this edge. Oh, but also, oh damn it, man! I made the edge too. I added all the colour before adjusting the shape. Silly me. Right. Let's go back. Let's go to say the script brush. Syrup even. Let's just start. Trying to be nice and random, so just letting the pen do the work, pressing up and down, letting the pen, as again, do all the work. Trying to get rid of some of these rounded edges by chopping into them rather than, and that looks a little bit better. We'll roll with that. We'll roll with that. This colour here, we go back to the logo. Get to this size first. We'll run this up and down, nice and big. That takes up a lot of that in there. We can then go to the next colour, drop the size, drop the opacity, run this up and down. You're too kind. Let's increase this one up a little bit more too. And let's grab the smaller one and then try and break up the edges a little bit more. It's looking good. We've got a nice amount of colour in there. Max. Max shout, but mad shout, but would that over horizontal? That's a good shout. The only thing is those brushes are Patreon at the minute only, so I hear you. Maybe have to think about that, because I never ever intended them to be Patreon only brushes, but I just kind of left them there. Never really sort of made a public facing tutorial, you know. So maybe I need to consider that as an option. Let's create a new layer above as well. We select the shape. I don't think they needed to be separate really. They could have easily been on one layer. Invert the selection. Go back to here, mask it. Invert that because it was the wrong way around. And then we do the same thing we did on this one. So we set it to overlay. And then we grab, I think it was this colour. We grab the soft brush and we'll have a little run round from here. You guys talking about sort of leveling up your skills and stuff. I deliberately sort of drew the other day in a way where I was just like not considering it to be a tutorial, even though it's going to be. But I was really pleased with how far I managed to take a design and what I ended up creating. So it is one of the best feelings, isn't it, when you just start to sort of clock your progress. This is already giving me the vibe that I wanted. I wanted it to be, I don't want it to be super accurate. I don't want it to be 100% exactly how they actually look. I don't want it to be that. I want it to have that kind of very, not, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want it to be just like hyper realistic. I want it to be like an illustration, really. Let's grab this brush here. leave it at normal. I was doing something the other day, and when I finished it, it seemed like someone else. Oh, I'm with you, I'm with you. That's cool. Like your progress, like, you know, that's really rewarding to like sort of get that feeling of being like, well, I actually drew that this evening kind of thing. We just need to maybe add some texture onto the side of here. So it's like something really easy, something that's, again, I kind of think of maybe a bit more like abstract-y is kind of what I'm going for, rather than hyper-realism. Yeah, there we go. A quick coat with that looks fine, does the job, gives it that rough look to it. And if you change the layer mode, I'm sure, there you go, something like overlay will do the trick. And you've got a much more realistic, you can see that kind of where I'm copying that, just keeping it real simple. And then if we were to like, I just want to focus on the background before I get any further, because if I focus on that, I think I'll start to see it all sort of come to life a little bit more. So like, for example, I want there to be a light source top left. It's a key thing that I always do in the tutorials. You guys already know it, but I love doing it. I think it always looks sick. If we were to say motion blur this left and right, create like a really flat shadow, not off the edge though, because otherwise once you go off the side you've lost it. Or maybe Gaussian blur that just a little bit, and there you go. You can already, I'm already happy with where it's going. Arguably you could say in this particular instance that the crystal needs to be rotate. Whoa, not like that. Uniform is what I wanted to press. You could rotate that a little bit more so that this edge here looks like it sits a lot nicer on the floor. So now it looks like it's part of a scene, I guess. This is what I always like to kind of imagine. It's like a scene, isn't it? And if we have a really nice light source, that looks really cool to me. And if we were to say, go to this layer here, we go in with the soft airbrush and maybe darken up the underside of that. That nicely sort of goes together. That's probably too dark on that edge. That's fine. The only thing I think I might need to do is just brighten up around this top edge here, but that might have to be a different topic of changes. We'll see how that goes. Let's undo that for a minute. That looks really cool. I'm really happy now with how the sort of composition sits. It looks cool. Okay, so what did we do on the inside? We created our gradient, which is cool. Then we created some large sort of crystal-y shapes, very faint, nice and light. We then created some nice brighter tones. So I think what the combination needs to be is a combination of a few things. Is like a mix of different colors at different sizes and at different opacities will nicely sort of bring it together. Again, I don't want somebody doing this tutorial and sitting in there and drawing every single sort of shape. It's not what we want to do, and I'm sure you've got other plans for the rest of your day. So let's you know, like in here now, we can just do a nice light coat, nice light amount of pressure, introduce some of the darker tones. I'm gonna gamble that some of these where they start to stick out here on the left are gonna pay off in the end. So we'll gamble on them for a minute. We're layering it all on top. And then I'm confident at some point, maybe say like now, maybe we could maybe change this to say add. If we take a look at the reference photo, let's make this a bit bigger. When we take a look at the reference photo, we've got the gradient, and then we've got, when you look at the highlights, there's like, I'm seeing two different sort of levels to the highlights. I'm seeing like this sort of blue here, which arguably is also, say, there, here, here, and then there's like another set of highlights on top of that, which are the brightest highlights, which is here, here, like here, definitely here, and definitely here. So by breaking the image down, we can see that, okay, we need to put some sort of bluer highlights in here, small but quite a good handful of them, and then we need to create a next layer where it's like a few very minimal white highlights that are super bright, and roll with that, and then it should give us the sort of effect that we want. If we zoom out of that, I can do exactly that. So we'll create this, like, we'll take this light blue, for example. Let's pop it in the palette. So maybe just pop it down here. And let's see what we can do. Let's max out the opacity again, but make it nice and small. Maybe about 2 or 3%. There we go. Just a few dashes of these colors. And if we look at the photo, they're all the way into the center. So it's just obviously where this particular piece of crystal is looking at our light source. So a couple of little sort of flicks. Now, I'm already seeing that I've done too much towards, say, the outer edge, because this edge here is flat, isn't it? It's where we've like chopped into it. So we don't want too many around that edge there. I'm thinking that might just about be okay. And then we roll back to, say, this white, which I'm going to make a really pale version of this. Create one more layer. The opacity is high. We need to drop the size, which just keeps magnetizing to that. No. Damn it, this is so annoying. We'll roll with the 3. I have to be brave and drop in a few dashes here and there and just see how it pays off. And also get some in here too. It's going to start to come together, hopefully. I mean, it already is pretty much there, but I'm trying to avoid any manual entry of like content. And that is already giving me the impression I want. Change that to like both to add. Thank you, Vanetta, I appreciate that. There's arguably not going to be a great deal we'll add to it after. If this was set to not overlay but to normal, what does that? Oh wow, why did that look so much better by doing that? Oh, it had a layer effect on it, which was okay. I need your input. So this is with the layer effect and this is without, which looks good. And then the dark one sits on top. Looks good without the effect. M and L. Yeah, with. You think with the effect. So you think like where were we? That's with. That's without. We've still got more layers to potentially add on top. I think this with, so without the layer effect, I think it helps with the look that there's far more crystals in there, because it's like a proper layering up effect happening. So I think we'll roll with that for a minute. Mistake without. Gotcha. It's alright, you can have an opinion if it's different. That's what we're all here for. I hate to bring this up, but I'm very over the moon with the fact I was on that podcast. But I was also talking about a lot of you anyway, because Dusty, the interviewer, we were talking about live streams a lot, and I actually spoke about this exact thing on the podcast to say, when we do these live streams, you guys have an input on the design, and I like doing this. I really like the backwards and forwards of you saying, nah, Joel, what are you doing? Go back 5 steps. It look better there, and everybody agrees, and I go, right, fine, I'll backtrack. But I spoke about it on there, so yeah, it's all part of the process, which I like. That definitely looked nicer as well. Duplicating that up, getting a lot darker tones in there. I've got quite a few layers going on here now. And then, just out of curiosity, what would this look like? How mad would this look if I go back to the start and then just apply like a layer effect on top here? Just see if there's something that pops up. I don't think there is. Like, that one looks a bit too bright and colourful. You know what I mean? That one looks okay. Soft light. Oh, that looks a little bit better. Just a little bit. But this, I don't want to do stuff that's just simply based on the fact of how I've done mine, because everybody's is going to look a little bit different. We then have this outer edge, which looks great. Happy with that. Linear burn, and we drop that opacity down maybe just a little bit. We'll see how this goes. Where can we listen to the podcast? You can listen to it on Spotify. You can listen to it on Apple Podcasts. You can listen to it on YouTube. I think it's on YouTube as well. But it's only audio. So if you just go to the YouTube Creators Hub podcast, and wasn't the last episode that's just gone out on the Friday? Yes, last week, the weekend before. So it's a good 25-minute chat. You can hear the story from Joel Craig from start to finish, kind of thing. It was really, really cool. I knew obviously it was coming out for a little while. I didn't want to jinx it at all, but it's just a really nice moment for me of just kind of, come a long way. And I've heard him, I listen to that podcast basically all the time because it helps me understand, what it is I should be doing on the YouTube side of things. It's great to hear other YouTube creators' stories and stuff. I love it, but it's great. I was really, really pleased with it. Really, I feel like we are still working really hard there. Working hard or hardly working, eh? That looks better. What's up, Jesse? How are you doing? I miss being on your Patreon, but next month I'll be back. How's everything doing? Everything is grand. Thank you so much for asking. Patron-wise, if you are not a patron, you don't have to wait till the end of the month now. You don't have to wait till the start of the month. You can do it whenever you want. They've changed Patreon now, so when you join, if you join on the 15th of the month, you get charged on the 15th of the month, then onwards, just like you would get from Netflix, just like you'd get from Spotify. So if you ever want to become a patron, when you join, that's your subscription date. So it doesn't matter anymore regarding joining at the start of the month or the end of the month. You'll always get your time based off of when you join. So yeah, it's a lot better. A lot better. And the second they sent me the email and were like, oh, do you want to do this? I was like, absolutely. Just turned it on immediately. Yeah, the YouTube Creators Hub podcast. Marie, you'd probably like that, obviously, that you got your channel. etc. There's quite a few nice ones to listen to. So many different creators. They never sort of really. He tries to, in my opinion, avoid taking on massive creators because, for me, arguably, they're not the fun ones to listen to. The fun ones to listen to are the people that are like on the way up, sort of thing. I'm wondering if we can make this very procreaty and add in some twinkles in here. You know, some like cutesy kind of little twinkles in there. I'm wondering if I've got anything in here. Don't really like the glimmer brush, but we'll... way too small. Jesse, that's all good. I'm happy for people to come and go as and when they want and try new creators for sure. I'll still be here. That's the beautiful thing with the fact that, you know, I'm still going to be making content. A patron left us recently, and she messaged me and said about the fact that she was sort of, you know, felt like she needed to message me, and she absolutely didn't at all. You know, I'm just like a piece of entertainment. No, but in a, you know, like just like signing up to Netflix or Patreon or Netflix or Sky or whatever, it doesn't really matter. If it's like for whatever reason 1 month you just want to cancel it, or you're not going to be watching, or you're not even drawing at the minute, there's no problem at all with cancelling and then joining again at a later date, because the beauty of it is I'll still be making tutorials and you'll still get all the one, you won't miss anything. Do you know what I mean? You'll still get all the ones while you were away, you know, which is cool. They'll still be there. I think a few creators, they some of their tutorials are like time based, and I don't want to do that. Not particularly my vibe. I want to, if you join, you get the whole catalogue. Arguably it's more of a selling point as well, because, you know, if you're thinking of joining and you get the whole catalogue, it's awesome, isn't it? I was going to say, where is this colouring in? Because it's not on any of these layers. Also, there's so much competition in this space as a creator from that side of things that, you know, there's bound to be someone who takes someone's fancy 1 month, and then, you know, somebody else makes a tutorial and you go, oh, I want to do that. I think I've spoken about this a couple of times now, so, but yeah, no, it's all good. No problem at all. But I appreciate the love, Jesse. I saw your where did you say that as well? You said it somewhere else on another platform potentially. I think it's probably Instagram. But I see you. Break out the bloom. We could do the bloom. Let's see what we can come up with, and then see if we do exactly that. Let's see. I don't have that many sort of twinkly kind of brushes. Maybe we should try and find one and see what we can find. I might have a look, see if there's something external that we can maybe use. It's not going to be in any of these. It'll be in any of the ones I've previously downloaded. Oh, little texture collection from Joel Create, not yet released. Little sneaky. Paper collection sticker. I've noticed Flo's been using the bloom a little bit lately, hasn't she? With like turning on the lights and stuff. It's a cool effect. It's very cool. Do you know? I've just been looking through those brushes and I saw the neon collection there. I was like, do you know what? I ain't drawn anything neon for ages. Feels like ages anyway. There's only so much you can do, I guess. Sneak peek indeed. Oh, cool. I'm glad you found it. All right. Let me know if you listen to it and what you think. Oh my god, these brushes just go on forever, don't they? Just triple checking I haven't already got something that's going to give me that little sparkle effect. Got a VHS look. That's cool. God, I forget I've got all of these. I should just bite the bullet and delete them. Because I'm never going to use all of these brushes. And arguably it's better for me to use the default ones because then you guys have got them. I feel like I need like 2 iPads. One for personal and I can just go nuts with downloading as many brushes as I need. But okay. Let's just go down and use this flare brush. What's up, Nixon? How you doing? What did Mr. Let's see what little fun sort of dots we can put on with the flare, maybe. Just little sort of twinkles in here. I would maybe check. Oh, that looks very cool. We were to change the layer effect so it's less. That's very Procreate-y, just to take it to that kind of little look of, you know, a bit more. It's, again, that less realism look and more of a fun look, you know. Let's see what we can get away with here and there. What size was it? It was roughly around about that sort of size. Let's make a size about 7. About. Kevin, Apple just released the iPad Pro with the M2 chip yesterday. They did indeed. So I watched the video. I was about to record a reaction video to it, but there was only one point in there that was really of any proper use to Procreate. Procreate announced that there is a 5.3 update, which is coming soon, which is somewhat related to the new iPad content. Whether or not that's exclusive to the M2 version or it's coming out as an update to other models as well, it's interesting. I don't have enough information to go off of yet to, you know, kind of make that decision, if that makes sense. I just saw the T word and that hand go up. Who said the T word? Oh, Jesse. Oh, Jesse. We'll get back to the iPads in a minute. We need to, as a court, decide what do we do. Because I'm letting a lot of people off at the minute and I feel like someone's got to bite the bullet. I swear this has happened. No, this has happened before. I swear Jesse said this before, and then this has happened before, and we did exactly the same thing of saying, should we time Jesse out or not? And we didn't. So we kind of have to now, right? Because I swear I remember you saying to me before, time me out, and I was like, do you want me to time you out? I'm trying to even find the sets. I can't even find it. Oh, there it is, the control room. Where is it? There we go. Right, so if I go on Jesse now. There we go. Can you guys see that in the chat? Or is that just me? Can you guys see that in the chat or not? Is it just me? Because on my screen it tells me I've timed it out for 5 minutes. Jesse, I do it with love. You know, you gotta love and learn, you know. Wait, what did I even miss there, by the way, when I scrolled up? Music stop. Uh-oh, not getting involved. Zip slip, not getting involved. You don't see it. Oh, well, I've done it. On my screen, it tells me that it's done. Lessons are being taught. Listen, you lot are getting out of control, you know. Wait, can I undo it or not? It's what it is now, isn't it? And also, while I'm here, okay, now it's getting, now I'm passing on the controls as well, because we've just, Milo is one of my moderators as well on the Discord, so he's a moderator here now as well, and I've got mad with power, yeah, you know what I mean. I'm just gonna start dishing bans out left, right now. You guys you're gonna learn today. You're gonna learn today. Wait, what? What's this button? Wow, this is cool. I've never been in this before. Insert an ad. Guys, do you want to watch an ad real quick? I don't know what this does. Should we just roll with it? Yeah, roll with it. Insert ad. Oh, wait. Is that a live ad or is that an ad that is in the video when you watch it back? Who knows? Let me know if you're watching an ad, you just watched an ad or not. This is kind of cool. Interesting. Never been in this before, so let's I think that's for playback. Okay, cool. Oh, sick. Wait. Should I off and Jesse? Does this go into the chat? There we go. Oh, that's cool. Can you guys see that poll? No. Guys, what the heck? Wait, so if I click on this. Hey, look, we're learning it today. That is cool. Heroes. You can't say the T word. Oh wait, so hang on, there's a couple of people. And I'll catch back up with the chat in just 2 seconds. You cannot say the T word in the chat, okay? If you say the T word, it means that if you're saying, can we have this as a tutorial? Will this be a tutorial? You can't say the T word. If you're saying, Joel, I did one of your tutorials the other day, loved it, it was amazing. That's cool. I appreciate that. But if you ask what I'm drawing, if it's going to be a tutorial, we're laying down the law. You can get timed out for 5 minutes. So now I'll just run a poll just to triple. Like, I just didn't know you could do it. So that's pretty handy to see that you could do that. So now I can put the sort of power in your hands a little bit as well. So let me just catch back up with the chat. We've got Samaria. Wow, this is stunning. Hello, this is my first JC live. Welcome to the family. We do these every Wednesday. If you want to come and hang out, you can just watch me draw something. I'm not finished with it yet. We just kind of went on a little bit of a sort of power trip for a second there and started dishing out some bands. So we'll see how it is. At the minute, so when I click on the poll, oh, okay, I can see it now. Can I see who voted? Because if I can see who voted, I know who's with me or against me, you know what I mean? Okay, cool. Kevin says, I always thought the T word was tequila. Absolutely. You can say tequila. I won't be having any though. You can have it. No, I can't see who voted, so it's all good. But 60% of you think I should not have put Jesse in timeout for 5 minutes. Right, if we end the poll, what happens? Anything? Oh, it goes into the chat. Okay, that's cool. Oh, that's cool. That's so much better, isn't it? Because annoyingly, the playback I'm seeing is slightly delayed. But that's so much better from the point of view that I can, rather than say to you guys, you know, do you think we should do this or shouldn't do this? It's easier to just chuck a poll in there. That's really cool. Okay, cool. I'm back on the live version now. We'll leave that. I'm sure Jess will be back in a second. Right. Yeah, if you ask for tea, let's catch back up. Kiki woke up seeking violence today. I voted yes, just putting it out there. Cash my word. Joel's like, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed in you all. Absolutely. This place is just getting out of control sometimes, you know what I mean? Sometimes you just got to reel everyone back in a little bit. Well, anyway, shut up, you lot. We were putting little flares in here. Right, we were putting some flares in. Let's see what we can do. Right. Oh, have I got that down here actually? Or is it still upstairs? It's still upstairs. Let's just, I want to see, like, you know, something a little bit like that. Like, what does that kind of look like if we put some like different layer effects on it? I think when Kat told me before, when we tested the ban on Kat, that it just times you out for 5 minutes, but you can still watch, you can still listen and everything. So yeah, if you, this reference photo, I think it's from an Etsy page. I literally just typed in amethyst crystal, I think it was, and it will be on there. So if you take a look at mine right now and the composition of it, you know, like someone's thumb holding it there on the left, that should help you. I don't have it on my computer to then send it to you. I'm sure I can find it otherwise if you don't. By the way, this will be a tutorial, of course. I'm not spending this much time on something for no reason. A lot of the time they always end up as tutorials anyway. It's just we try to avoid the demand of the tutorial. That's a little nicer, a little bit of a light source in the top left. I like that. Maybe even white, or is that too bright? Too bright? That's cool. Thinking this maybe can go a little bit like a perspective blur, maybe. That's much. Or is it? No, I like how short that looks, actually. That's fine. Okay. Again, we wanted to keep it simple. We didn't want to do too much that it's going to take too much time to complete. So that's fine like this. It's just about fine tweaking some of the sort of sides and stuff. See if we can try and maybe sort out the edges. Funky, you would trip me in a zombie apocalypse. Jesse's back. Are you mad with me? Are you genuinely mad with me? Do you know what the hardest thing sometimes with doing all of this is when you think you're joking with somebody and then you don't know if they're being legit or not on the other side, and they're actually like pissed at you. But I'm trying to do this, and it's always lighthearted. It's always lighthearted. Also, I spoke about the sort of damages that your Apple Pen tip can take by doing screen protectors all the time. And come on. There we go. That's what I needed to do. This bad boy is taking some serious heat. It is very, very sharp and pointed, and I believe it's on its last legs. In fact, oh my god, I can see a dot of the metal pen tip underneath. Can you see that? Can you just about see that dark dot on the top? That's the metal tip. I can actually see it protruding out. Okay, well that's a costly weekend that's going to be coming up. Does anybody know how expensive they are? Has anybody ever looked? I'll tell you what we could do, just to protect the screen for a second, is we could use one of our trusty friends over at Pen.Tips. Kerchow. Let's switch out the plastic one because I don't want to damage my screen. That's what I'm most concerned about. And we will screw in one of the Pen.Tips too. Let me just check that question there. So somebody asked, is the Apple Pencil worth the money? First generation one is compatible with my iPad. Absolutely. So I'll tell you something that happened once is I bought the Logitech Crayon. So it's an official product ready for meant to be used by the iPad. But I unboxed it. I started using it for a bit, and I was going to make a video on it in comparison to the Apple Pencil. I put it back in the package, snuck it back into the shop and said I wanted a refund on it. I just couldn't be bothered because it just doesn't compare. The pressure sensitivity, the angle sensitivity of the pen, everything is you want the best. Ideally, if you use your iPad for drawing, then it's a given. But not only drawing, just lots of things. Taking notes and stuff is definitely worth it. I don't know how much the first generation one is, but it's definitely worth it. $200 is the tip. $20. That's a very vast amount. What are we talking here? Oh, $19 for a 4-pack at Apple. Okay, that's pretty good. I actually probably need to hit that pretty hard and pretty quick. Oh, Troy's off, is he? Did I miss that? Why did I miss that? Or did I? Oh, Troy, there we go. I have to head into a meeting. You guys have a great day. Troy, I appreciate you looking after the community as always with your gifted membership. Have a wonderful day, my friend. Good to see you in the chat. Crash my wife. I'm dying in your face. We'll buy one on your recommendation. That's awesome. I can guarantee you'll enjoy using it. I can guarantee it. It's unmatched. And also, the accessories you can get with it are nuts. I had a case turn up the other day. I don't know if any of you spotted it. It was a massive chunky pen. I'm not going to leave the stream to go do it, but there's lots and lots of just grips and tips and covers and, you know, lots and lots of things that you can find. Big sleeves. So there's just like lots of accessories and stuff that will make your life a little bit easier. Let's put these ones back. Now this one is an interesting grip while we're just on the topic of it. Right? This is my favourite one. This is one by Upper. This one, it swoops out at the bottom, nice and smooth. And I prefer the way it swoops out because you're constantly pushing down into the bottom of the pen. You push down and you rest into that gap. Really, really comfy. This one is a beast. This one is huge. Let me take this one off. And let's pop this one in. This one was massive. When I was drawing with it, it felt huge. It just felt really unnaturally massive. It's almost like a tattoo gun, you know, a massive. Well, it's not as wide as a tattoo gun, but it's definitely got that kind of wide boy feel. But yeah, it's not bad. The Pen.Tips 2, I haven't used them a lot. I won't lie. The Pen.Tips 2, I haven't used at all really. We should probably get back to this sort of design, right? Or we good to keep chatting? I just bought some dollars for my December trip. I just bought some dollars, and the exchange rate has made me feel ill. Are you UK based or somewhere else? And you're heading to the States, I presume? This is, don't like it, it's too big. This is a Whopper, but if you prefer that kind of grip and you can't make them too tight, I just got a notification on your newest short. How weird. Oh, that is strange. I am Joel. I'm from the UK and off to Florida in December. Oh, lovely. Which pen tips are better because Apple tips fall off? The Apple tip itself shouldn't come off, but these ones here, these are. I can't get the shit out of me. Jesus. These ones are the Pen.Tips too. Let's just start again. Hang on. Let me have some water, because that I scared the life out of myself. Let's run that back. So these are the Pen.Tips 2. These ones actually screw in now. So the older ones are these ones. So these are the older ones. These are the original Pen.Tips. So if I unscrew this and I screw back in my plastic one, which I'm devastated has got down to this point. Let's screw this back in. You can just simply dab into one of these, and there we go. We've got like a nice blue one on there. The only problem with this is they provide so much grip that occasionally, and I wish I could show you sort of in detail, but the tip of the pen, if I can maybe get this to sharpen up, just starts to sort of trickle under itself. Does that make, can you see the top there? And it's out of focus. I'm trying to get it in focus. It just sort of rolls around on itself, just the tiniest bit. Now, I use a screen cover that's constantly on, so I always have one on that's relatively fresh a lot of the time as well. So that will also apply more friction to the tip, which is ultimately going to try and make it sort of fall or not fall off. But if you like that and you don't want a paper screen cover, definitely get the Pen.Tips, but get the Pen.Tips too, because you can just unscrew the original one and pop in. You can get them in black and white. I think they both come in your packet when you get them. You got the black one there, and that's rubberized, so it gives you the friction. So if you weren't going to use a screen cover, use a Pen.Tip. It gives you that friction, and you can turn it. You can basically, like, you know, decide when you do and do not want it, kind of thing. Whereas with a screen cover, you don't take that on and off, do you? You just left on. So yeah, it's Yeah, 100% the Pen.Tips. They're very good. They're just not my cup of tea because I use a screen cover. But that's all. It's just a lot of grip. Now I'm panicking that earlier on when we picked a texture for, oh, I suppose I could rewind. Oh, there it is, Wasteland. We need that. Maybe even grab Twisted Tree and see what that looks like. I want to adjust this texture on the side. It's a bit too sort of boring, potentially. So this is just a bit of trial and error now. I'm sorry. It was equally as scary for me, and I also nearly died on stream. So I'm glad you enjoyed it. How long are you live streaming for? We're at an hour and a half. There isn't another video yet. Another design that I want to do today. This was the only one, so we'll just be tinkering with this one for a little while before I head off. Again, I joked about you guys in the tutorial, in the podcast I was interviewed on, that you guys hold me ransom a little bit to if I have a day off. But I also gave you some good credit. I also gave you good credit to say, you know, you're very understanding, and if it's, you know, been a long day at work, etc., that you know, you let me have the time off. You're very understanding, which I always appreciate. Ooh, that actually looks really nice, but I'm not sure that is the side profile, but it looks really cool. You know, if there's a layer effect in there, I always look at the layer effects just to see if it tinkers with the layer in a way that looks, you know, more accurate or gives off a cool effect. Oh my god, this is okay. This seems like it's not. This is what I mean. Also, I think there's a couple of like weird accidental sort of touches sometimes. I quite like that one, but if we duplicated that and inverted it, what would that look like? If we like grab the cursor and just move that like up a little bit so it's more like a rock on the side. See, that looks sick because we've got like a really cool, like a rock look on the side. Oh, that looks way better. Jesse, I'm here just drawing and watching. I did time myself up for 5 minutes anyway, but thanks everyone. Yeah, I remember when my puppy chewed my Apple Pencil. I think I was clinically dead for 2 minutes. I would be livid. Wait, I'm not using a tip cover or a screen cover. Am I the less fortunate? You don't have to use any of these things. The experience with using the pencil and the screen is enough. But if you're primarily using your iPad for like drawing, I highly recommend a screen cover. The screen covers will give it a matte feel, and it will also give you a little fine detail over the top of your screen. What I recommend is what my recommendation always is if you use your iPad primarily for drawing, always get a screen cover first. Screen cover first, a paperlike, a Doodro screen cover, a ghost paper screen cover, either one of those three I can recommend. If you use your iPad more for like watching films, sort of that's your primary use, and then you draw on the side, you don't want a screen cover maybe distorting that image in any way because it's got a matte look on it. It can ever so slightly distort the look, sort of grey it out a little bit. Get Pen.Tips. Get Pen.Tips all day long, because then you get that friction of paper, and Crash Matter, trust me, if you were to buy one, you won't go back, because the feel of drawing is so much more realistic. It's fantastic. So yeah, for sure, try and treat yourself to one, or maybe ask for one for Christmas. As a heads up, I've got a video coming out soon which will give you a whole gift guide as to what you can get, so stay tuned. yours is nearly all drawing, so a screen cover would work. So like paperlike or ghosts or something. Yeah, absolutely. I have affiliate links. If you were to buy one, I get a kickback. I'm super honest about it. But you can help support the channel that way. So if you do want to get yourself one, I can send you a link. It doesn't change the price in any way, unfortunately. The only things I do have discounts for are Sketchboard Pro. You can get yourself a tasty 10% off of one of these, and a 15% off code for the 12 South, the Park stand, and the Compass Pro stand as well. So just let me know if that's something you want to do. Bella says, be right back. I need to step away for a piece I'm working on. I can't figure out what I'm missing in it. Everyone is getting new iPhones except for me. I've got the 14 Pro that I treated myself to, but I'll use it for work, i.e. this. So can I find the links? If you're after a paperlike, they're on Discord. Yeah, there's like a there's a section in there. It's like where you can find me, something like that, maybe. Paperlike's in there. Maybe Ghost Paper Screen Cover is there, but there isn't one for Doodro yet. But if you want one for Doodro, it's up to you. They have different textures, and this is actually something that it's a bit boring of a subject. You know what I mean? It is a very boring subject. How much detail and texture the iPad screen covers have in them, but they do have a different amount of texture, and they do have a different response. Again, it's a very boring subject, but for me, I can see the differences now between them. This Doodro one, it's super fine, very fine detail, doesn't really distort any images, but because it's so fine, it picks up grime on the screen really, really easily. So there's a reason why they, I presume, already do this, which is the Doodro screen cover, screen cleaner. A little spray, and then you use the bottle itself to wipe it down. I can understand why that is a product that they sell. This actually kind of grinds my teeth a little bit. Okay, we're good. But you can see why they have that in their product range, because it's so fine, it picks up a lot of stuff off your fingers. The paperlike is the middle ground. Great texture, a little bit of distortion. And then there's the Ghost Paper Screen Cover, which to me had the largest texture. And what I mean by texture is there's bumps. It's like sandpaper. It's like sandpaper on the screen, but how big is the grain in it? And the Ghost Paper had the biggest one, which was great for texture. Distortion was fine. They're all relatively fine. But the paperlike is the middle ground, definitely the middle ground. This here on the side is just something I want to adjust. Maybe drag these two layers underneath my shadows and highlights to maybe add in that rocky look on the side, and that just needs to be a little bit whiter on top of that. And then I think we're almost there, if not already. Let's reduce this down. So Twisted Tree is one that we used on the side. Fantastic stuff. And let's reduce this down and just try and brighten up around here, because there's a little bit more of a sort of glow or ish from the stone around the outside. Again, I want it to have that Procreate-y kind of like look to it. It's not meant to be super realistic, but it does look quite good, which I'm quite happy with. Peace everyone, gotta go. Have a wonderful day wherever you are in the world. I appreciate you hanging out. Marie says it looks realistic. Oh, okay, damn. That's not how we started this. I like the random little twinkles in there. Don't think I would do anything else. Around the outside is cool. Could probably spend a lot more time increasing the contrast. I think would do it, but the layer count's got a bit mad. We've got a few here. No, we need that. We've got the sparkles. that's the extra lighter bits. That's the blue highlights that we spoke about. This is the outer edge, wonderful stuff. 2 darker layers on the inside, the original base layer of color, great stuff. The gradient, the shape. Around the outside here, we have the old texture, which I've got rid of now because I prefer the other one. Highlight in the corner, gradient in the background. Yeah, that's cool. I want to show you something. Let me flick this around a second. I want to show you something that I was drawing yesterday, because this is it's going to be a tutorial, and it's going to be a set of tutorials. So there's a little sort of insight. But this is probably going to come at the end of next month on Patreon. Wonderful creator that is James Julie. I watched one of his videos the other day, and he used a particular brush that was baked in, and I fancied having a go of it myself and creating this really cool sort of cabin in the woods look to it, where we have, you know, some nice trees. It's very me as well, where we don't give a damn about the stuff in the background. It's just blurred out, we don't really care too much. Little stream down here on the left. But the cool thing about what I'm going to do with this is it will be to draw this first, then I need to flick you around a second, so hold fire. We're going to go back around. The concept then, and this is, I've not finished this drawing, so I'm just sort of giving you a mega insight here, is to then convert the exact same photo, the photo drawing, exact same one, chuck it through a different season, do something different with the lighting. And this time it's winter themed, you know, we can add some really cool snow on there. Also a really nice, you won't be able to see it really on stream, but like a canvas texture on the top, so it will really look like it is a painting. I want that painting look. I personally have really been struggling at the minute, and I still am a little bit, with creative block. And I said to myself, I'm just going to sit down and just paint and draw. And I like the word paint because it was a painting. And so I managed to sit down for a few hours and just crack on. And we come up with this cool design. I'm very pleased with how it looks. A couple of things that I need to adjust potentially. But very happy with it. If you want, I can put a little time lapse on for you. You can also get an understanding, and this is something I'll share actually, is if we go to the video and we go to time lapse replay, I'm going to start it at the very beginning. So what I did was, and this is how I sometimes put together these kind of ideas, is find resource images. And if we scrub through this a tiny bit, we've got 2 photographs. We've got a cabin in the woods over here, and then I found a picture of a stream that just about matched up sort of why. I was then messing around with the idea of maybe putting a mountain in the background. You know how much I love them. But I ended up bagging it off, created a stencil, created all the shapes, and then you can just now watch it sort of come to life. I was messing around with the brush to start with. And yeah, we just cracked on. It'll be a long tutorial. It will be long, but I'm starting not to really care too much about if they're longer. We have to do longer stuff if we want to create cooler, long, you know, more detailed stuff. So yeah, you can see the sort of build up, and I keep jumping from scene to scene, and you can already start to see it come into life a lot more here. I spent a lot of time just getting in there. The cool thing with this design though, is what we're going to do, if we jump all the way back to where we are now, is there's a base layer, and then there's just one layer of painting on top. Can you see that? It's just one layer of painting on top, and so we're not jumping between two, other than creating a few different layers that I need you to make. We're painting all on one layer, so there's a lot of like overlapping yourself, and like you would do a real life canvas, you know. But yeah, super pleased with that, super pleased. I was happy with the fact that it helped me achieve something, even though I'm feeling a bit, you know, burnt out. The burnout, as a heads up, is not, it's not critical. The burnout is the concept, it's the ideas, it's the, my problem is, and I know it's a problem, is I want to always give you guys something new. I want to maybe do something or give you something that I've not yet done, whether that's a technique, a style, a brush, something. and then I'm finding it hard to then go back and just go, well, why don't you just paint another scene? Just paint something else, just do something else. It's cool, it's fine, because the image is different. But yeah, I'm struggling to like get back to that, and also I feel like my brain's a little bit empty. The 2 weeks helped though, like having a week off last week. We had a stag do last weekend, and stuff like that. It's like helped us sort of completely disconnect. You notice I didn't put up a doodle challenge last week because I was just burnt, and I just wanted to disconnect from my phone a little bit. But it's not in like a worrying way or anything like that. It's just that, we're 100 tutorials in now this weekend on Friday in terms of the Draw Along With Me series. In reality, I've done way more than that, because we've done 50 over on Patreon. We've got other series on the channel. So we're looking like we're in, I don't know, I think we may be touching maybe 200, just shy of 200 if anything. 200 videos and designs in, what are we at now? Probably about 20 months maybe? Sounds about right. About 20 months. It's it was bound to happen. I've always been expecting it to happen. So I've been prepared for it in a sense. It didn't just come out of nowhere. So yeah, it's just like it's kind of like a little bit of an insight really. I think it's good to talk about it because it helps to understand that we're not. I think it's easy for you guys to understand then if I was to say, oh, I'm taking a break, from YouTube for a week or whatever, or, streaming, something like that. The streams are good because they help me draw, get new ideas. But yeah, it's we're cracking on. We're carrying on. What's interesting is I don't take it necessarily as a bad thing. I take it as a good thing because this is part of the experience, part of the journey, it's part of being the creator and stuff. People get burnt out in every single area of YouTube. It's not just, here, obviously the drawing side, I feel for the creators that are like a personality because they've got to do something that's different, they've got to go and do something. Sometimes they just need to be participating in something. Whereas, we've got to create designs and stuff. And, all credit to like people like Flo. Tati's been doing this longer than me as well. Just as a few, other people, JB, is it? BJD, I can't remember his name fully off the top of my head. That's my fault. That's my not being rude. That's my fault. It's terrible memory. Everybody who's been doing this a lot longer, massive credit to all of them, for absolutely smashing out for that longer period of time. I'd love to have a sit down chat with Flo and say, how have you managed to curve it? Any moments where you did take a break and nobody knew about it? I was talking just very briefly with Drug-Free Dave on Instagram, and I was just saying how much he's smashing it at the minute, and he said he's actually taking a break, and I had no idea he was taking a break because he had the content lined up ready to go, Instagram wise, YouTube wise I guess, and everything like that, that he could have a break, and it made perfect sense. That he did it that way, and then just sort of it's just you when you hear someone else say that as well, it's always like just understanding that you're not on your own doing it. It's not just you, shall I say. Really long tutorials for sure. Yeah, they're cool. We can definitely get a few more of those in. Marla says, I admire the effort on you, Joel, to give it all and to teach new skills in each tutorial. I appreciate that. Funky says, we got you, and I appreciate you, Funky, as well, for reaching out. I really do appreciate that. Crash My Wife says, if you teach us new effects using new techniques such as realistic painting scene, then you can expand your collection and help us do different scenes using the same technique. Doesn't always have exactly, and that's something I need to sort of take on board. You could argue James Julia has a very small window of things that he was doing over the summer, the beautiful sunsets, a beautiful pieces of work, astonishing stuff. But he has had, he niched down quite hard, and that must have taken a toll throughout the summer of just feeling like, am I doing another sunset? Is it starting to, become too normalized. But credit to him for continuing on is what I'm trying to say. Is like, you know, just cracking on, because the sunset can be different colors, different environments and stuff like that. So that's something I need to sort of take on board a little bit as well, and kind of take from him in a way. But yeah, let's see what else we got. Funky says, I was feeling that for a long time. Crash Matt, to be unique every time. I love your tutorials and have learned so much from you. I do appreciate the love, guys. Marie says, I'm taking a break to switch. I'm taking a break to switch my complicated cameras out for phones. Oh, cool. So you're getting rid of you had Logitech cameras, right? And you switched them out to phone. I love this camera, my phone. If I could use it as a webcam as well, Cam Studio, you can put portrait mode on, and it looks great. It looks so clear. It looks awesome. But I can't be asked, because I always film my videos down with my phone, that I can just leave the webcam there and the phone always goes in there. I don't have to sort of switch the mounts around or anything like that. BJ Dell, that's the one. Marie says, I do all the time. It's called feeding the algorithm. Right, let's take a look and see what we could have maybe changed here. Fuji and Logi, keeping the Logi for live, but phone for videos. Yeah, for sure. Phones just get so good now. Like this is class. Like the cinematic mode and stuff is really cool. Okay, let's just very quickly just take a look and see if there's any layer effects. My favorite thing to do is to grab the whole design, which I don't think I would make any different changes, but let's just see if we roll through the blend modes first of all, and see if there's anything that just takes my fancy. We'll start at multiply, far too dark. As always, everything above normal is a sort of darker variation, and nothing there really gives me anything I like. Now we're getting into the brighter tone layer effects, so they're going to primarily focus on the highlights. We then get into like the color adjustment layers. You could get really contrasty like there and have a really contrasty image. So that's the difference. We've got kind of like a grey outside and a really dark. To me, it's a bit too punchy. Jay says, I think I might have to go. The video keeps buffering. Is it buffering for anybody else? Please let me know in the chat. But Jay, I appreciate you hanging out. Jesse, I love it, but I have to go to the store for the Wi-Fi. See everyone next time. Jesse, I appreciate you hanging out. You need to behave yourself next time you're in here. None of that T word. You have a wonderful day, and I'll see you soon. It's good for you. Okay, cool. Hard light, vivid light. Too much. Okay, cool. Let's go to here. Let's go to hue, saturation, and brightness. Can we get a nicer hue out of this? Very blue, too blue arguably. I don't think we can change the hue very much. The saturation, we could crank that up quite a bit. Doesn't look quite as realistic, but I'm thinking maybe the brightness could come down a smidge, and then what if we oversaturate? No, do you know what? I think I'm pretty happy with it as is. There's another one I like to do now is the curves. So we add the points along the curves on gamma, and then we just crush. We either increase the shadows or we crush them, giving it a more photogenic look. You see how that's like kind of like crush the darker tones in there. That looks quite nice, and then you can increase the highlights as well. Okay, that's fine. Let's leave that as is then. Okay, so of course I can say it, but you can. This will be a tutorial at some point. Just keep an eye out for it. Might even actually probably be next week on YouTube, maybe. We'll see. I don't think I grabbed any of those colours around the side. Let's just do that while I've got the reference photo open. Let's zoom in a little bit. Let's grab this colour here. Let's grab this colour here. It's not quite black. Ooh. Let's grab the middle ground colour. And let's grab the back there. Wonderful stuff. Yeah, it will be a tutorial. If I was to film it maybe this week, it could go up next week, so just keep an eye for it. Patreon wise, we're done for the month. I did them all back to back because of the way the month worked out, and also I wanted to give myself a break at the end of the month to draw. I've already filmed 2 of the designs for next month, followed by what will probably be that painting you saw a second ago with the cabin in the woods, so that's going to be a fun one to do. What else do we have? I'm trying to think what else there was. There was something else. Oh, if you get a sec, please go. The name of the podcast again was the YouTube Creators Hub Podcast. Tell you what, I'll grab it and I'll pop it in the chat, because it will, if you maybe invite us back on one. Let's go to Spotify, YouTube. Don't start lagging now. Don't start lagging now. Milo, I think this might be a bit of a tester actually. You might be able to drop links in the chat now. I'll copy this link anyway. Alright, so go and check this out, guys. Give it a listen. Let me know what you think. I was very, very happy about being invited onto the show. It's a podcast mainly about sort of YouTube and a bit more about sort of the behind the scenes, I guess, a little bit more. So there's also a little bit of explanation about sort of, how the channel started if you're interested. I'm going to put it on my website eventually as well. I just need to get some time to start messing around on there. But yeah, we spoke about a lot of things. We spoke about sort of how live streaming affects such things as community. We spoke about things such as how to grow a YouTube channel. Funky, to be honest with you, actually that's the perfect person to see in the chat. There may be a few things in there that maybe would be quite useful. Also, as a there's also lots of other creators on there as well, so there's lots of things to maybe pick up on for journey, like your sort of monetization and that sort of stuff. We spoke about that on there. What else did we speak about? Sorry, there was growing a community, how live streaming affects everything, what people can expect when they come to the channel. What else is there? Oh, and the special guest series as well. Special guest series was on there as well. I made sure that was hopefully a talking point, which was great. Then we spoke about goals and stuff like that. So I was buzzing. I can't lie. I was absolutely buzzing to have been on the show. My heart's pounding like crazy when we were getting started. Yeah, I've never done a podcast before. My first ever one. So it's really, really interesting to do. Quite loads easier than I thought it was going to be. Yeah, it's good fun. Good fun. And my mum was extremely proud, which was lovely. And so was I. I sent it to like everybody, put it on like my personal Instagram and stuff. It's just one of those moments where sometimes you can get lost in creating the channel, and you can get lost in the fact that your goals are maybe really far ahead, so you don't really get anything that pops up that's like a little sort of mini side quest achievement, if that makes sense. If you relate it to a game a little bit, you don't really get anything that pops up that kind of makes you feel like you're still progressing, you're still moving. But for somebody to turn around and go, yeah, absolutely, I'd love to have you on the show, sort of thing, it was really, really, nice. It was just really cool, really like a great feeling to know you're still progressing and all that sort of stuff. And because I wanted to hit 20k by the end of the year, we hit that ages ago now. It's mad. We're arguably closer to 30 than we are 20, which is just crazy. But one day, hopefully, you'll see like behind me here, a little silver plaque of some sort. But yeah, that's my, and I speak about that in the podcast of like, my goals are sometimes too long term that in the middle you can't really enjoy it sometimes. But I did enjoy it. So yeah, 100k is huge. It's a huge goal I want to hit, but it's just for myself. It doesn't mean anything. Nothing changes when I hit 100k, but you know, that would be cool one day. But we've still got a little way to go. You've still got me for a fair few amount of years yet, so don't you worry about that. I ain't going nowhere. Listen, thank you so much everybody as always for hanging out. I love that you guys want to keep hanging out with me. Some of you have been in these live streams for almost years now. It literally feels like years from some of the really early ones. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me so much, and I also, you know, I'm very grateful to all of you, because without all your support we don't continue to do these cool stuff and the podcast and stuff, and you know, test out new products and different types of videos and all this sort of stuff. So I'm truly blessed to have a wonderful community, and I'm going to stop sort of yabbering on about you guys being awesome so much. You guys have a wonderful rest of your day as always. Thank you so much for hanging out. Keep an eye out for this when it comes out. New tutorial coming out on Friday, the little poster design, and yeah, have fun doing whatever you're getting up to. I'll see you again next Wednesday. We'll be back next Wednesday, so no break, and that's it. I'm gonna stop waffling. I'll leave you to the rest of your day. Love ya.